Hello folks, welcome back. It's been a while since I've posted my last video. I got caught up with many other things that are happening in life. Hope you're all doing well. Today, I'm back with a slightly different topic. A topic that's potentially top of mind for many people who are in market to buy a house. Should I choose an apartment, villa, or a plotted land? Again, this is in the view of not investment but as an end home decision. I am personally, very intrigued about this topic because I've heard a range of different opinions within my circle, within the community, within the family. So it really boils down to an individual decision. I mean, no two ways about it. We all have our preferences, but keeping the emotions aside, what is the logical trade-off within each of these product classification? That's exactly what we're going to talk about. And this is one such area where there's no right answer. So please do share your own opinion in the comments below because I'm genuinely interested to know how the community feels, how the broader market feels about this. So what I've done is quickly go through, some of the pros and cons for each of these, right? So we'll touch upon the pros and then go into the cons for each of these product areas. Okay, coming to apartments, it's definitely unbeatable that the apartments is the cheapest among the lot. I'm not saying Hyderabad is cheap. Hyderabad apartments are cheap. No, I'm saying within the three product areas that we're covering, product classes, apartment is definitely affordable. I mean, we all understand the logic and mechanics behind this. As the society moved from individual form of living to more gated apartment sort of living, the builders sort of increasingly grabbed more land and converted and increased the yield out of it. So as opposed to two consumers looking and deciding who gets this plot of land, the business and the developer sort of came into the mix, and as they pulled larger portions of land, they wanted to go for the high rises and as a result generate more yield, which controls the price points. So that's one of the reasons why they're affordable compared to the other classes. Coming to the next, they're generally located in prime areas, and you let's all acknowledge that there are no longer villas in or plotted lands in Kokapet or Financial District, and there won't be any. The only option to live in the city in the prime location where you have all the amenities around will be the apartment. So yeah, that's definitely a pro. Gated features goes without saying. I mean, most of the apartments today that we're dealing with, or at least that we cover within this channel, is gated community. Relatively easy to maintain. My own personal story, I've seen a lot of people that I know have migrated from villas to apartments because they're perched on single floor, easier to maintain, don't need a lot of house help to run the show. Views can be a big advantage, especially in some of the other markets. In Hyderabad, you have very few pockets where you have natural view, be it a lake facing view or a mountain view. But if you take that as an asset class, just zoom out a bit across India, you have many cities with natural advantage of either a beachfront or a hillfront sort of a view. So that is only available or possible, especially if you need the high elevation. That's more possible in the context of an apartment. Good investment option. I mean, see, again, the society has moved towards apartment more than the other classes, so there is always going to be some sort of demand. So low to medium growth, but still definitely a pro. Now, cons. A lot of people have told me that one of the main reasons why apartments cannot be as functional as some of the other classes is outdoor space. I don't get to walk around, I don't get to grow my own vegetables. Gardening, comes with outdoor space. So that's not possible, although some of them are experimenting in their balconies. But let's face it, it's definitely not a pro. High density, which is, I mean, in today's day and age, if we have 100 units per acre that is considered medium density. So increasingly you will see with FSI limits not being imposed, builders will squeeze more and more value out of that land, also because the land prices have escalated. So yeah, that's the other trade-off. You will be sharing the overall community space with a lot more people than some of the other asset classes. And lastly, limited design choice, which I think is a common for villa as well. So it's a con on both sides. Builders won't allow you to change the layout. They might be flexible with a few things, but you are largely not in control of the design choice. Well, coming to villas, obviously all of the cons in the context of apartment become the pros in the context of villas. Outdoor space, gardening, low density. Largely the benchmarks sort of suggest only 8 to 10 units per acre. By the very nature of villa, it's a more spacious commodity. You have units ranging from 3,500 to all the way 15,000 square feet. So definitely one of the aspects that favors the villa community. If you need more space, especially outdoor and indoor, then it becomes a strong positive factor. Medium growth. I know there's certain villas that have really seen extraordinary growth, especially the ones in Kokapet that have become mainstream areas today. In the future, I think this will continue, but I would say slightly more premium growth than apartments uh, is how I'd like to sort of see it. Definitely a pro. Gated features goes without saying. Cons. Now, the biggest trade-off is the location itself. As we've mentioned several times in our videos before, real estate decision or home buying decision is down to three things: your location. A lot of people just say location, 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 but that I think is outdated. It's location, project, and the unit itself. And the biggest factor is definitely the location. So the downside of a villa is you still have to go to the outskirts. A villa in Tellapur today costs around 9 crores, 8.5 to 9. A villa in Tukugada costs about 3.5 crores. Again, much pricier than an apartment. And if you do more of a head-to-head, let's say in Kokapet there's a 2 crore for 2,000 square feet. The similar square feet size will be, firstly won't be available, but will at least cost you 4 crores, right? So it's easily 2x. So as a result, you'll have to go much further away, and that's a downside, and expensive. We've talked about it. Limited design choice, also not something that you can control. Plotted land. Design choice is the biggest USP. Biggest advantage is you get the piece of land, you can design the space as you want, which is the flexibility that our generation above had. You can clearly design where the kitchen comes out, what the layout looks like, entirely in your control, which I think is still a very strong factor for a lot of people. Outdoor space, low density, all of that holds true in the context of a plotted land development as well. Medium growth, I would say slightly more than villa for sure, because you can still play around with the options. For example, within a community, you can change the layout. You can decide the carpet area versus the land outside, so that gives it slightly more advantage. Again, price and growth is demand supply equation. Really, in the long term, will people prefer to have that flexibility? Would they want to have that flexibility? We don't know, right? But historically, I think it's been quite fast in terms of the growth. I'm increasingly seeing a trend where there is going to be duality in terms of in the type of living. Peaceful second home, weekend home in a plotted land which is quite far away, and then your city living in an apartment. So there's definitely a consideration. It's a lot more peaceful than your hustle bustle day to day. Cons, very similar: outskirts, expensive. Construction management. A lot of people today are outsourcing this process. Let's face it, it's not going to be easy for you to handhold the construction of your home for good 1.5 years. A lot of people are not patient enough in today's context to go through this process. So it's definitely a con as things stand. With that, I hope you have a good overview of which asset class offers what. Again, most of this is stuff that you know. I just wanted to reiterate my POV. One thing that I would say is a lot of people have a bias towards plotted land because they see that land is something that I will continue to own, will be a permanent asset, and it's not going to go anywhere, and will appreciate much faster. I just want to my own reflection is that's not entirely true. Um, the reason I say that is, especially in the context of gated communities, villas, there are very strict laws that says you can't really repurpose your land for multiple. You can't commercialize that land. You can't give it out for lease. It's especially in the context of a gated community. So for a home, yes, it is a land that belongs to you, but it is restricted use. It is only meant for a particular purpose, unlike agricultural land, or maybe not agricultural, but other forms of land that are not yet converted into a community, right? Where there you have options of, should I come up with a commercial here? Should I come up with a hospital? Come up with a warehouse? So there you have the optionality, which actually really drives the growth. But when it comes to one asset class, one home, I still feel that you're restricting the choice to one particular use case, which dictates the supply demand dynamics, which dictates growth and pricing. That said, yes, absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of people who are emotionally attached to land, so there is no value that you can assign to that. And as a result, historically, it's seen stronger growth than some of the other asset classes. With that, I wanted to put that out there. Again, to close, do let me know your own POV on this. I want to aggregate all the information and really understand where the market is at. I know we have we'll get a very meaty sample to ensure that I'm on the right track, and I'm happy to adjust my thinking if you think I've said something that is out of place. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.